Welcome back. It's another episode of Everything Black On. I'm your man Scooter. Today we got a very special guest. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Patrick Weaver. We're here at Cache Dulcet, a premier
Come on.
coffee shop and record store, third space, uh, vibe library.
Come on.
A tasteful place. Let's just say it's a tasteful place. It's a hidden, sweetful, tasteful place.
Congratulations, man.
Welcome
Absolutely,
in. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here, for sure. Tell us, man, how'd you get your start here at, what you say, Cache Dulcet?
Cache Dulcet.
Start us at the beginning.
I love it's cliche, but I'm gonna say long story short because we don't want to. I don't want to give too much up.
Okay.
But I will say, this vision came to me when I was living in LA. I was in LA for a while, working in several different roles within the entertainment and music industry.
Okay.
That was when I found my passion for coffee. That was around 2017, 2018. I was cafe hopping all over the place in LA, in between roles and gigs, right. Sometimes even having meetings. Well, not sometimes, always having meetings at coffee shops.
Right.
And I was picking up the cafe culture, just people watching. Mm-hmm. That was a big thing that I still do to this day. And being in cafes and just seeing how people act and interact with different people. I knew back then somehow I was gonna figure out how to get me a cafe.
Okay.
Like it had nothing to do with coffee in the beginning.
Right.
When the first thought process came to me. So fast forward, pandemic hits. I got a lot of time on my hands, so I get back into record digging, shopping for records a lot. I'd always had a record collection years before that, but 2020 was a shift where I had a lot of time on my hand. It was like, oh, this is what I love the music. I love hunting it down. And it became one of those things where I got big into collecting again, right? So, it went from days that I had off, I would literally spend half of that day, go to a new coffee shop, go find a new record store. The record store might be 2-3 hours away from where I'm at, just because I want to see what's out there, right?
Right.
So I started doing that a lot. And 2021, I want to say it was February 2021 was when I wrote down this exact concept. And I originally had conceptualized it for LA. So originally this was meant to be in LA. Fast forward, I'm trying to figure out how to make it happen in LA.
Right.
And something told me like, yo, you need to get out of LA. Like, you can always come back here, So it was shocking because like it was clear as day. It was like God just telling me like, yo, just jump. You gotta leave. Like LA's not everything. It's not the end all be all, right?
Right.
I love LA. Can't wait to go back there. But something told me like, move around a bit, right? It made sense business wise. It made sense. It made sense for a lot of different reasons, right? So fast forward from 2021, 2023, top of 2023 is when I decided I was going to make that jump, right? So for those 2 years from 2021, I wrote this down to 2023. I'm still working, figuring out everything, not really sure how I'm going to make this work. 2023 came and it was like, it was go time. Jump, don't look back. So that's what I did. Originally, I wanted to do it in Virginia. Well, originally, I tried to do it in Virginia Beach. It was never, I always told myself it was never like location was always important.
Right.
And that was the main thing that I knew getting into like the cafe, coffee shop world. But I never wanted to like hold myself down and just be a coffee shop. So like, surprisingly enough, like I don't want them to call this a coffee shop. It's it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's a coffee shop because we got coffee in here.
Right.
But the majority of my customers don't even drink coffee. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't even say I have like a specific target audience. Um, it's just people who have good taste. If you have good taste, this is for you. So whether you like coffee or not, it's something that's always going to be um, something for you to engage into, whether it's the music, whether it's a chai latte with no coffee. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people that don't drink coffee, they love the chai latte. So it's like um, it's much bigger than a coffee shop to me, right? So when it came down to deciding this space, it's funny because this was not on my list of when I started looking at places to put this shop at in Richmond. So this had very bad pictures. It didn't look right online. Like I didn't like the way it looked. So I kind of skipped over this space and I was looking at a few spots down in like Carytown, a few over on the south side, um, even like a couple blocks down on North Adams was a spot I looked at that I really, really wanted. And it had the infrastructure there, right, and everything like that. But ended up deciding on this space. And when I stepped in, we did the tour. I knew exactly that this was it. Like it was crazy. It was like I stepped in and I seen because the floor, like I was very fortunate. The floor came like this. Okay. So it was the checkered floor and then the wood floor in the back. Yeah, I was like, oh, that's my two zones, because I didn't want to clutter this space up here with records. So that's why you don't see anything that screams records up here. It's all in the back. And that is tied in with the name itself. It's the Cache Dulcet, the hidden sweet place. There's been a lot of people asking why we don't have a bigger sign. And it's like, how does it matter? You found this. You're here. You're here now. Like, so enjoy yourself. Yeah. Take it all in. And things like the whole thing with this is like, I didn't feel like it was rushed, but it's also like so much more I want to do with this whole idea in the space. And always told myself once it got open, it was like, all right, the main thing I'm focused on now is like just making it better, and the people are really like keeping me going because every day I've been open, still to this day, I have a new person that comes in, experience the space, whether it's on accident or not. Right. They come in here, they're like, yo, what is this? Like, this is a vibe. And I'm like, yeah, welcome in. Like, yeah. So, I don't know if that answered the question.
No, you did. Okay. You for sure did. Okay. So let me get this straight. This idea began in California. Mm-hmm. You brought it to Virginia Beach.
I'm originally from Virginia Beach.
You're originally from Virginia Beach. Oh, so you left Cali, went back to Virginia Beach.
So okay, let me go back there. So I'm originally from Virginia Beach, born and raised. I went out to LA for the first time in 2014. Okay. Originally, it was for a vacation. Okay. During this vacation, I decided to stay. Nobody knew though that that was always my plan. Mind you, I left 2 jobs when I did that.
Your plan was to go on vacation and stay.
In the back of my head, right? So it's a crazy story because really only like a handful of people like really were there and saw it happen. Right. And that was like my mom, of course, and my mom and my dad at the time, and my homie JD, who he's now back in LA. Okay. But he was my one connection to LA when I went out to visit the first time. It was supposed to be a 7-day trip. Okay. Day 2 of that trip, I had a job.
Oh, so you planned this?
Mind you, this was top of December. I want to say I flew out there. I know exactly. It was December 7th, 2014. Okay. That was when I first went out there. December 9th, I had a job. Or 8th, rather. Yeah. December 8th, I had a job. Okay. So, mind you, I I went out there with a suit in my
Right.
in my luggage
Right.
to interview type thing, right?
Gotcha.
So it was always like in the back of my head, I was like, I'm gonna figure out a way to stay.
Right.
So get the job, mind you, it's end of the year, so the job doesn't start till the top of the year.
Gotcha.
So I had the option of either coming back to Virginia, getting things together, and then going back. Knew I didn't want to do that. This is my first time in LA, by the way. So my only introduction is weird because as soon as I got to LA, it was like I knew what was up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, obviously you learn every day with anywhere you go, especially with new places. But LA, I was semi-familiar with due to the show Entourage. It's one of my favorite shows. And I tell this story all the time because it's so funny and true. But like, Entourage taught me more about LA than I learned in LA myself, almost, because it never changed really. Like, there were phases of LA where, like, especially pandemic, like that was a new LA.
Right.
Like when pandemic hit, LA definitely shifted for a lot of people.
Right.
And I saw the shift too. But prior to that, you know, it was so many pockets of LA, especially when you're working in entertainment or working around music or just in the what we call the industry. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a lot of similarities, right? You go into a lot of the same places, a lot of the same venues. So that was just like I was in awe. You know what I mean? It was like, oh wow, I'm in LA. Like, let's make something shake. You know what I'm saying? This is the land of opportunity for sure, right?
Right.
So one of the first experiences I had in LA, that kind of made this all come to fruition years later. Mm-hmm. I didn't have this is crazy to even think about because like I never thought about this in a while, but there was times I was in LA, no plan, no money. I would be in coffee shops researching on my laptop. One of the first jobs I ever got, somebody just walked up to me and they thought I was somebody. Continued the conversation. Like, yeah, give me a call sometime soon. Like, I need to get you. I forgot what the job was even for, but it was like something in sales.
Right.
And I actually took the job, got the job. You know, only was there for like a couple months, but like it was like a step.
That's what you needed to.
Yeah, and it was like, oh wow, like I just gotta be in the right place, you know, right time, you know. And that's always been like the name of the game for me, especially with just how I move. Mm-hmm. Like it's never really forced. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you just gotta, like how we met, bro. We met literally you walking past, you know, during one of the First Friday events, and that just happened to be the second month I was open for business, and it looked like it was something that had been here forever. You know what I'm saying? And like that's one of the funny things when people come in here and they tell me like they ask me like, yo, how long has this been here? And I'm like, oh, we just opened 2 months ago actually. We haven't even been here 90 days. And they're just always amazed. And it's like, yeah, me too. Because it feels like I've been here before. That's what's weird about this whole thing. Like it feels like I've definitely been here before. And right now I'm just walking through these. I'm like getting everybody else caught up. Getting everybody else caught up right now because eventually, like, what I want this thing to do is be way bigger than me. Come on. Like, I might even make this my last interview, bro. Because like I don't like being you know, in the forefront, even though it happens and like I'm okay with it. It's not like I'm shy. Mm-hmm. It's just that sometimes people will make it more about you when it's like really about this whole bigger picture of like what I'm trying to create here. You know what I mean? Like it's the community. It's what are we doing next? You know what I mean? What are we doing to empower our people? Right. You know what I mean? Like so from LA to here, to be honest, is not a lot of difference other than the weather.
I'm aware.
Obviously. I'm right. Aware. So it's crazy because being out here, it feels like obviously I do feel at home, you know, because I'm familiar with the city. Grew up in Virginia Beach, spent a lot of time in Richmond between like what would have been my college years.
Right.
I never graduated college, but I dibbled and dabbled. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
I learned what I needed, but I never really finished. So being back in Richmond now and seeing what it's becoming, and me, you know, actually now being a part of it,
Right.
like it's a very surreal feeling because it's people telling you that, and it's not like it's I don't got to do too much talking now. Like that's what's crazy. You know what I mean? And that comes from like I don't think we would have got this right here without me going to LA. So LA is a big part of the story. I don't like to dwell on it because people have made my whole story about LA, and it's like that's not what it's about. Like LA is cool, but like where are we? We're here now.
We're in the city.
Exactly,
Richmond, man.
Exactly. So, and like Richmond got a lot of culture here. Like I love what I'm seeing. I love what's happening. The people I'm connecting with, it's crazy. Like I'm very curious to see what happens to this city in the next like 5-10 years. But really, these next honestly, this summer's about to be crazy because I'm here.
Major shit.
Like I'm gonna do whatever I can. Like I told my homie when I first got in this space, I'm gonna turn Broad Street into Sunset.
Okay.
This is gonna be Sunset Boulevard in 5 years.
I love it.
Just the action, the lights is where you want to be at. You know, get there early. You're not getting in if you're not. You know what I mean? It's a capacity. You know what I'm saying? So like,
it's what it is.
We've already had days like that here.
I've seen,
which is crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
because say less than 90 days.
Less than 90 days. Like, I don't know the exact count, but we're 2.5 months. So coming up on 90 days.
You know, in that capacity.
In that capacity. The first Friday event we did, which was what was that? That was April. April first Friday in April. We had 78 people at the peak of that event. My capacity is 32.
So you only had 32 in here?
Allegedly, yes. Yes. 32 minus, yeah.
No, that's dope, man. Yeah. That's dope. Well, welcome to the city, man.
Thank you. No, and the city has welcomed me with open arms.
No, for sure. This is a dope spot, man. I was even gonna say, you brought it up first. Like, I've seen the videos of the spot, and people are everywhere.
Yeah,
folks dancing, having a good time, laughing, music's playing, records playing, man. Like, let's get into the records a little bit.
Okay.
What is the process? Because they haven't seen it yet, but you have stacks and stacks of records, man.
Yeah.
What is the process of going to find those?
So I'll take you back just a little bit to when, because I was selling records before I came here, right?
Okay.
But it was like a hobby. It became a hobby like almost overnight. So I had never thought about selling records. I got one homie that was in LA who I actually knew from Virginia Beach. We ended up in LA at the same time. He started a market.
Okay.
So shout out to Max Fuller.
Max Fuller, Mike.
So he had a market that he was doing in Silver Lake, I believe, at the time.
Okay.
And during that time, like I was, digging on the weekends. We'll post my new finds or whatever. Always posting me playing a record, whatever it may be, because I've always been big into like the samples, right?
Yeah.
Cue this record. You hear this? This is an old sample,
right?
But this is Hugh Master Killer. This record came out in '76.
Okay.
This right here, this song right here, is the cover of For the Love of You by the Isley Brothers, which came out in '75, a year before.
History.
So, but
that's dope.
Fire. But so the homie Max reaches out to me. I want to say it was like a Friday night. And he asked me, did I want to sell records at his market? Because everybody's been asking about records. He doesn't know how to sell records. There's no record seller at his market. It's a flea market. So the first answer back to him is like, absolutely not, bro. I'm not selling my records. What are you talking about, bro? Like, you know how much money I've spent building this collection over these years? Like, not about to just sell it. And at the time, I lived in Hollywood, and I had a studio, which was about 550 square feet. I kid you not, about 200 square feet was filled with records. My floor was completely covered. I had a shelf in there that held about 300 records, completely stacked. Outside of that, records on the floor, everything like that. I never got an exact count, ever. I know at one point I had 200 to 300 records. That was probably the last time I actually did a physical count of all my records. After that, I've completely lost count. At the peak, I gotta guesstimate at that time, I probably had about 1,200 records in my apartment. So I'm like, you know what? I could use the room. So I hit him back. I was like, yeah, I'll do it. So me not knowing nothing about selling records, I pretty much grabbed stuff that was, I had a lot of doubles. Some things that, you know, I just knew I could part ways with.
Right.
So I'll just start grabbing stuff like that. I'll probably go out there with about maybe 100, 150 records. Nothing's priced. Had no prices on anything.
Right.
I go out there and make like $800 within a matter of like 3 hours. And I didn't even realize I had made that much till I checked my Venmo, and I'm like, where did this come from?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, like, wait a minute. Then I realized that, like, oh, that wasn't even all the money. I took Apple Pay too. So I'm looking at Apple Pay. Apple Pay put me over like $1,200. And I'm like, oh, whoa. Did I just really make that with no? It was not work at all. I was out there just talking about music,
right,
with random people who never met in my life.
Something you love to do.
It was that simple, right? So translate to this, it's pretty much happening on like a larger scale, because now it's like, I got this, you know, and I didn't really think about it until, you know, I had people start telling me this, but like, we got an actual storefront,
right?
Like, it's kind of a big deal.
Not kind
I don't like to make it a big deal, but it's like, yo,
this is dope.
They got a spot, you know? So it's different now, because now it's like, wow, I can really make this my whole world, right?
Right.
So when it came down to like this whole thing, that was like the first step. Like, it was like, oh, wow, I can actually probably make a living selling records, even though like I had never really thought of this market as like a market where I could like do this full time, right? So that was the first time I ever sold records. Each time it just got better and better, right? I started putting price tags on stuff.
Right.
I got a catalog now. Now I got actual crates I'm using, because when I did that, I literally, like, the shelf I had in my house, it was a modular vintage shelf.
Gotcha.
Actually, that shelf right there.
Oh, you keep it? You still keep it?
Yeah, those colors.
Yeah.
Like those. That's like a. I don't even know what you'll say that is, but that's like an installation I just made.
Yeah.
Like, it was random, but those bins that are in between that,
right?
Those colored ones,
right?
That's a shelf. And I actually bought that shelf from one of my favorite record stores in LA, Record Surplus. They had it behind the register, and I used to go. It was one of the spots I used to go,
right,
like weekly, right? So I'll go there and I see the shelf, and I'm like, "Y'all selling that?" They're like, "Yeah." And they tell me the price. I was like, "There's no way you're selling it for that cheap." I was like, "I'm gonna take that." And when I saw it broke down, because I had a 528 at the time, so it's not like I had room to like put this big shelf in.
Right.
Then he takes it apart. I was like, oh, it comes apart like that? Oh yeah, that's going right in the trunk. And it's been with me ever since. Really nice vintage piece of furniture. Like it rotates, all that. So I had that. I took those out and I just turned them sideways, and I had it where you can flip through the records. So that was my first setup. Took the money I made from that first weekend, went and bought some crates, and went and bought more records because I had already had places I was shopping at where I was getting these records for what I thought was cheap, but like they were really cheap compared to like what the market was. You know what I'm saying? Because yeah, think about it, bro. I was throwing numbers off the top of my head, and people were being like, "Okay," I'm just like, "What? What do you mean you're gonna pay $40 for this record? I paid $2 for. Okay, cool. Hey, this is business.
That's business.
You know what I'm saying? This is business." And like the one thing that I wrote down when I did all this was like I was always gonna focus on like the curation. Like that's what I look at myself as here. I'm the curator. You know, I'm not getting in this to be barista champion. I'm not getting in this to be coffee master.
Right.
I just got good taste.
Right.
I know it tastes good to me. This is why we only do oat milk. I don't drink that cow milk. To each his own, right? Everything's not for everybody, right? So it's like one of those things where you kind of got to make that decision to like set yourself apart from, I'm not even gonna say the masses, but just other things. Like, you want cow's milk? There's plenty of coffee shops that got cow's milk out here. Why do I need to sell cow's milk? You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's funny because I've never had to have this conversation yet, and like, I hope. Well, I know this is gonna get out there, but like, we not doing what them other coffee shops is doing.
Talk about
it. It's not up for debate.
Right.
You can't convince me at this point because I definitely was trying to supply and figure out how to make everybody happy. It's not where we at. It's not where we at now. Like the people who are going to find us and be here, this guy. The people who are going to find us and be here will know exactly, you know, what's going on and how, and just how we see things, you know? So I feel like I got a little off topic, but
this is good.
What were we talking about? Where was I going with that? We were talking about the records.
Yeah.
Selling. Oh, the process. Back to the process. So the process with the records. There is no like set process, right? Because like I was just explaining to you about me being frustrated with getting this one collection.
Right.
There's always going to be more records somewhere, right? There's millions and millions and millions, billions even, probably floating around. You know, if we just talking about one copy, like let's just, for example, Thriller. Okay. One of the top selling records of all time, right? There's millions and millions and millions of copies of that one record floating around the world, right? Surprisingly, I don't have a copy right now. Have I had a copy? Several. It sells immediately because I hate to say it's a newcomer thing, but like when you're like newly collecting vinyl, even I can't even say that. I'll say this. Certain people, when they start collecting records, you know, it depends on what stage they are in their life and like where they are with their just music history.
Right.
Certain things they just gotta have. Right. Like I got people who come in here and they get excited over certain records that like I don't even think about anymore. They're good records, but like it's all about your journey, I would say, in the music of the collecting. Because I got some people who come in here and buy stuff that I just would never thought they would have bought.
Right.
You know, I've had people buy things where when they get to the register, I just gotta ask, like, yo, what made you get this? Or are you a DJ? Like, this is interesting. Or sometimes I just don't say anything.
Right.
Sometimes I just mind my business and I check them out. But it's always very interesting and it never ceases to amaze me, right?
It's got to be a dope feeling though.
It's a crazy feeling,
because
bro.
you're having folks from all different backgrounds come in to buy records from all different genres.
All in literally every week, it's been like that, bro. And that is the most craziest feeling because it's like, yo, and somebody, it always happens to somebody always says, yo, this is a crazy collection. And I'm just like, you don't even know crazy, bro. You should have saw it last week. You know what I'm saying? But like, that's where that journey is. You know what I'm saying? Because like, with me, I've been in a lot of different. At this point, I've been in a lot of different record stores, right?
Mm-hmm.
All around the world. And I've seen like how certain record stores curate their records. Mm-hmm. And not necessarily to say it's a good or bad thing, but a lot of the record stores in LA, they were more focused on, you know, the rock and roll, which is great. You know, I only like to categorize stuff in like two different ways, like good or bad, right? It's just good or bad music like that. But what I was realizing is when you're in a certain region, mm-hmm. they just focus on, you know, what's popular. You know what I'm saying? Right. So what I knew I wanted to do was I wanted to focus on stuff that moved me, stuff that I grew up on. I was big on the Isleys, which is why that record is so crazy to me. And like, this is somebody that I've come across in the past few years that I'm now a big fan of. Gotcha. And now this record is no longer for sale. I've sold this record, bro. I've sold this record though about 6 times now. And 2 of those times was before I opened. Because I would be playing it. Right. And they would hear it and they'd be like, yo, what is this? It literally happened last week and I was very sad because I couldn't sell it. And the dude was like, yo, can you play this record from the top? I was like, yeah, I'll play it again. He was like, yo, what is this? I show them. They're like, is this for sale? I'm like, unfortunately, no.
There's no price on this one, huh?
No price on that one. Not until I get another copy. You know, if I find another copy, like, I'll put it out there. But
so speak to that a little bit, right?
Yeah.
How often do you come across copies of records, popular records, so to speak? I know you said it depends on where you are in your journey as far as what you're looking for, but when you have something like this, how rare is it to find another one
of this exact record? Yeah. Or it's really rare to find this exact record, right? It's not impossible. It hasn't happened. Oh man, it hasn't happened in a while. Like the copies that I did have of this record were copies that I found online, and I just happened to buy a bulk because that's the other thing too. Like I don't want to give up too much sauce.
Yeah. But it's a process.
But there's multiple ways. Like eBay is always my friend. Right? It's always been my friend. I still shop on eBay. But of course, like, I'm not paying sticker. You know, I'm hitting up the seller. Yo, let's get this price down.
Right.
I'm not paying what you're offering, but I want the record. And if you give me this record, I possibly will buy more of said, not that exact record, unless you have multiple records of it. But I'm down to buy more to make this more beneficial. You know what I'm saying? So I don't buy a ton of records online because I'm always going to be paying more, right? Like when I get collections, like I said, I'm not going to say any numbers, but I get them at a very good price point. Okay. When I'm buying in bulk, right? So when I'm buying in bulk, you know, I might get 200-300 records. When I go to sell them in the shop, the first 10, 12, 15 records in that collection probably pay for the whole thing. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
So that happens very often because some of the times when I find these collections, they are coming from. I mean, I like to buy from us. I like to buy from people who I can trust their music taste.
Yeah.
So for the most part, a lot of the great collections that I have and have bought have come from like older black guys.
Gotcha.
That resemble my dad and his music taste. So it's
Gotcha.
like if I stay in that, and it keeps happening, which is great, because like there's a lot of us out here, you know what I mean? And everybody at a certain point in time was collecting, you know what I mean? It's like once we get to a certain age, if we all kept our stuff, like eventually everybody that looks like us, we're gonna have somewhat of a sneaker collection to hand down, and it's gonna be like that gym. You know what I mean? So like that's kind of what is happening to the records these days. Like,
okay. You brought up your dad twice now.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace to dad.
Rest in peace.
What was the impact he had on you?
Oh man, this is all him. Like this is all him. Like I lost my dad unfortunately in 2015. It was unexpected, but he had a record collection that was in the house that I saw as a kid for years and years. I even used to like damage some of the records, not on purpose, but like it was something I used to just, throw them around sometimes, whatever. And he also had like a stereo setup that I would always see. Don't really ever remember, like he definitely played the stereo when I was a child, but like I didn't really have any like experience of him playing. It was mostly like when I got a little older, when we'd be driving, it was CDs at the time. Yeah. So he was big into CDs. So like his records just sat there, and like I eventually inherited those records, and I still have literally some of those same records behind the booth that aren't for sale. But basically, he gave me good music taste. Great music taste. From Sade, Isley Brothers, OJ's, Whispers. The list goes on and on and on and on, right? Saturday Night Live, Saturday Night Fever, sorry. But he was big into the Isleys, so that was something that always stuck to me when I got into experiencing my own with the records.
Right.
So I inherited his collection when he passed. That was in 2015. And what I did from that was I mimicked the collection. I got very familiar with some of the records. Parliament, a lot of Funkadelic. Just good shit. Just really good. Sorry if I can't. Can I cuss? Okay. My bad. So yeah, just really good shit. And it stuck with me. Like this whole thing is like an extension definitely of my pops. Because he wasn't, I don't even know if we got into drinking coffee together. Like it was definitely more because I didn't drink coffee till I went to LA. That was the funny thing too.
Okay.
So my coffee drinking didn't really start to LA. So it wasn't something I did. But I liked being in coffee shops when I was here.
Okay.
Like I got that part of the culture, of the coffee culture, right?
Gotcha.
The cafes, because every cafe doesn't necessarily do just coffee. Like some of the cafes you might go there for food.
Okay.
They might have a certain drink that's not necessarily coffee. Obviously, we aren't that. Maybe the next one will be for sure, because now I'm itching for more space.
Right.
I want to add more to it. I want to have a more diverse menu. And that's not to like make other people happy. That's just to make people want to be here even more.
Right. Let me say, I do like the concept too, because you're bringing two separate commonalities into one in coffee and in records. Now, no matter what your taste is of coffee or what your taste is in music, The foundation part of each thing is where everybody can relate. Or for those who drink coffee, you like coffee, here's a coffee shop. You like music, here's a record shop. Here's both together. So that's a really dope concept, man.
And that right there is like the base and the ethos of everything, right? Because no matter what I get into after this, or like what the next space has, like those two things are going to be there, right?
Right.
Like maybe there will be a more detailed food menu. And now, because if I could, I would sell bagels, I would sell paninis, everything I love. You know what I mean? Croissants, all of that. And like sometimes, like I was saying, like sometimes you gotta jump and like just go make it better. You know, I'm gonna add to it. Cause now it's like you got something to look forward to. Cause now it's like, okay, cool, like this is cool where we're at, and like how do we add and build off of like this foundation we set, right? Even with the records, like we might add tapes and CDs next. Okay. I don't know, because people keep asking. It's not something I like to collect, but I'm also just a fan of physical media.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I'm a collector.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So most of my customers, to be honest, don't even own record players. They don't own record players.
Right.
And some of them, I didn't even find that out until like second, third time shopping here. I'm like, yeah, did you listen to that record you bought last week? Oh, no, I actually don't have a record player. I'm like, what? What do you mean? What are you doing? But I get it because I was once there. You know what I mean? Like it's the intention.
Right.
It's the intention. It's like, I'm gonna play these eventually. You know what I'm saying? Like, why not build up a collection before I get my first record player? It makes sense. And I support anybody who does that. Build your collection here. Start your collection here, actually.
Where?
Here. The Cache Dulcet. Come here, buy your first record, buy your second record, buy your whole collection here.
Buy your whole collection.
Buy your whole collection.
Right here.
Right here.
The Cache Dulcet.
The Cache Dulcet. LCD. LCD if you want to keep it simple. You know? But yeah.
That's fire, man. That's fire.
Just getting started. Just getting started.
So much work to do.
So much work to do, man.
So you talk about the inspiration of your father. You talk about you want to turn Broad Street into Sunset, man.
Sunset Boulevard, yep.
You talked about your anticipation for where Richmond will be in 5 years. What do you hope to do by then?
Well, the easiest way to put it is expansion. But as I get into this, because like I said, this is the first time I've done something like this big, I guess you could say, right? So just having responsibility of having a storefront and being right here off of Main Strip. It's a lot of responsibility that comes with it, right? I gotta make sure I'm learning every day, because there's a lot of things that I also just don't know. Like when it comes to how, like if I wanted to right now and I wanted to build something across the street. Okay. Let's not say across the street, but just somewhere, right?
Right.
There's steps you gotta take.
Right.
Just like I learned in this thing, like, yeah, I got the lease, but I just started building in here. Went to City Hall like weeks later, and they're like telling me, no, you can't just build something. You gotta get a building permit. Like, what are you doing? You can't just build it. So it's just little things like that. But like now I know, right? So I've learned a lot in this process. And the one thing, I don't want to put myself in a box of anything, but I definitely know I want another physical space of some sort, whether it's an extension of this, whether it's moving this to a bigger space. Right. Because right now I'm just itching for more space in here, right? Some of that does come with me. You know, I do want to kind of redesign some things in here, because I do like the space a lot. And I would love to keep this space. But there is some things that I do want to change within this space alone. Gotcha. But what I think for me is going to happen in the next 5 years for here is just, I'm gonna just say more. There's more.
Simple enough.
There's just more. Like it's just gonna be more of this.
Boy, I like that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, cause I like how it's touching the people. And that is like what's keeping me going right now, because if the community don't really like it, yeah, you know what I mean? Like people are doing exactly what I knew would happen in my eyes. Mm-hmm. And like I didn't really have to do, bro. I haven't done much social media. There's not much
I understand
that I do personally, you know?
Yeah.
Like people are sharing it. You know what I mean? And absolutely. That is like really like fulfilling. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like, okay, you're doing half of my job right now. You're spreading it. People are following it. There's new followers every day.
Right.
They all come from different walks of life.
Right.
You know? So yeah, and like it's funny now because like when I get introduced to new people, especially by friends, it's like, oh yeah, this is my homie with the coffee shop. And it's like, ah man, yo, chill. Like, don't put me on the spot like that, because now I gotta explain to this person
right
what everything is. And like
beauty in it though.
It is.
There is beauty in that.
It's definitely beauty in it.
But I understand you too though, because it's like you said, it's community, man.
Yeah.
Like for us to even be able to sit down right now,
yeah,
this is community. Yeah. This is part of that building, part of that growth. So,
absolutely.
Like, even though you say you might not do this much, but like I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Like, this is what keeps me going. At the
yeah,
same,
I'm gonna tell them. I'm gonna tell them to hit you up and translate. Oh, that's crazy. That's a homie from LA.
In town.
They're looking for us right now, but we not open. So, it's one of those things where, you know, you can build community in different ways, mm-hmm. which is what I'm realizing, right? Mm-hmm. Because I'm a very outgoing person. Okay. So, although I do not like to talk about myself, mm-hmm. I'm always in situations where it's going to easily come up that this is my thing, because I can't duck it, right? It's not like I don't want to talk about it, because I do. Right. I do, and right. I can't talk about it all day, right? But it's just funny because like sometimes I'll forget. Like I had moments, bro, I've never told nobody this, but I had moments in that first month where I literally woke up like trying to figure out what I was going to do today. And one day I was like, I got frustrated a little bit. I was like, yo, what the fuck am I gonna do today? Like, and I'm like thinking about what I'm gonna eat. I'm like, are you open up in 2 hours? What do you mean? What are you gonna do today? You have to run a shop. And I was like, oh. It was like an out of body experience, bro. It was like crazy because I was like, oh wow. I have a shop to run today. Shit doesn't feel like work, bro. It does not feel like work. It does not feel like work. It didn't feel like work when I gotta pay. I gotta pay rent. Like obviously, like there's still like checks and balances. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? But absolutely. When I'm in the motion, the movement and everything, man, I could do the shit with my eyes closed. And that right there is a feeling that just like it take a while to even like wrap my head around that, because like I'm nowhere yet where I really want to take this and just have everything moving. You know what I'm saying? Like it's still like I still do have to work. Right. It's a process to get to where I really want to be with this whole thing, and like having everything kind of just move by itself, right? But yeah.
How would you inspire the younger you or the younger folks that look like you?
How would I inspire?
How would you inspire them? Because you have a resilience to you that's also it's I gotta get it done, but I'm not afraid to take chances either. You moved to
How
LA
would
on
I?
a vacation.
Yeah. How would I? Damn.
How would you encourage them? What would you say to them? What would you say to you?
It's a good one. Don't second guess it. Don't second guess it. Don't think too long on it. If you want to do it, you got to at least try, right? You got to try it. Actually, I'll start there. I'll say try it, right? Try it. See how you feel in it.
Mm-hmm.
If you like it, put some more effort into it. If you don't like it, pivot, right? Because that's the other part of kind of the story that I don't leave out, but it's like it's because I don't want to dwell on it. But like it were so many times. Well, it was so many years in LA where I was searching for this one particular job, which was being an A&R, right? I thought that was my end all be all.
Okay.
Nigga, this is me A&R. Like I'm still playing with music, but I took the best part of the job out of that description, made it my own thing. Mm-hmm. And this is a pivot. Like it wasn't me quitting, right? Because like that's the thing that people get mixed up with. It's like, oh, I'm gonna just quit this. But no, I just made a pivot. It was just a pivot. I'm still in the quote unquote music industry in a sense, right? I'm selling records.
That's music industry.
I'm selling records, right? So do I wish I would have made it work? World will never know. Who cares? You know what I mean? Like, who cares? And that's the other thing is like, who cares? Like, they're going to judge you either way. Do what you want to do. The people will understand. And some of them won't. And sometimes it's just not meant for them to understand, right? So I would say at least try. If it's not for you, make a pivot, make adjustments. But just don't be scared, just don't be scared.
Get personal for a second.
Yeah.
You failed before this happened.
Absolutely.
Can you talk about those failures?
Huh.
And how did you overcome?
But see, it's I wouldn't call it a failure though. Like that goes back to what we were just talking about because I could easily say I failed at making it happen in LA. You know what I mean? That was technically a failure. It's a failure in my eyes, but like only to me, really. Because like only I know exactly what I was trying to make happen in those situations. I feel like I felt getting here doing this. It took me longer than I wanted it to take. That to me was a failure, right? But is it a failure now? You know what I mean? Because it's open and now it's like I'm here. So like, is it really a failure?
So I asked that.
It's a lesson.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I asked that for a purpose, right? Because to fail at something,
yeah,
who's to say?
It's all perspective.
Because it's all perspective, right?
Yeah.
Because only I have the vision for what I want to accomplish.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I can fail by my standards.
Yeah.
I don't care what everybody else is thinking about.
Exactly.
You dig what I'm saying? So I respect that.
Yeah.
I respect that.
And I stand by that 100% because I laugh a lot of times at what I thought I was going to fail at. And once I finally get through that phase and it's like,
it's too so
I was tripping. I'm tripping. Like even being here and like, bro, this is like, it's really a thing. This is really a thing now. It exists. Like, it's crazy to even like wrap my head around that part of it. Like this spot really exists. Right. You know what I mean? Like it really exists. Like people are actually like talking about it. You want to do an interview in here? Like what?
Bro,
like
we in your shop right now.
Yeah. Like it's crazy. and especially for it to only be second month in actual business. Like, where do we go from here? You know what I mean?
Wherever you want to take it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and that's the other thing too. Like, I always said, like, once I got with anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get into it, and my thing is, I'm gonna try to take this. I want to take this as far as I can.
Right.
Like, as far as I can, as far as the universe and God will allow. That's why you have the name like it is. There's no cafe, coffee in it. I'm not putting myself in that box, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm leaving room for growth and opportunities, whether it's brand partnerships, whether it's different entities involved with the LCD brand, whatever it may be, right? Whatever it may be. So, yeah, I'm excited to have the community on this journey with me, because what are we without community?
What are we?
What are we without community?
What are we?
What are we?
I ask myself the same thing.
And you doing it. And you doing it. Because like I said, bro, I don't like doing this, man. I really don't.
And I appreciate you for doing it.
I really don't, man.
But it's important for me to do this for folks like you.
Yeah.
Because if you weren't put in position to tell these stories,
yeah,
unless you were in your circle,
yeah,
they wouldn't be told.
Absolutely.
And I think everybody's story deserves to be heard.
Absolutely.
So again, I appreciate you for allowing Everything Black on platform to tell this story.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you more than you think. Because like it's we didn't have to go out of our way to do this
at all.
You know what I mean? It was a bump. Introduction. Oh, word.
Like, you do this. Right, I do this.
2 weeks later, we here. Right? 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
For sure.
2 weeks. You know what I'm saying?
That's how it's supposed to be, though.
Yeah.
That's how it's supposed to be. This, the same way you say this is rewarding to me, man. Like, this is what I do it for.
I appreciate it, man. I really do.
Man, well, let the folks know where they can find you at, man.
The Cache Dulcet, Broad Street, in between First and Broad, specifically 109 East Broad Street. Look for look for the little sign.
Come on. Look, Cache Dulcet.
Yeah. And we got what's today's date? Today the 14th? 15th. It's the 15th. So next Saturday we got the jazz event.
Okay.
It's gonna be here. That's a Saturday, 7 to 10. Check out the page. Follow the page on Instagram. Keep updated with all the
what's the page?
Upcoming events. Cache Dulcet, LeCachedulcet. It's all one word. Follow the page. We will. I promise I will get better, and the site. I will have the site live hopefully before the end of the month. But follow the page. If you got any questions, shoot us a DM. I try to get back to the DMs as quick as possible.